Welcome back to ETV News and Sport. Now, Google will tell you that the average human being can hold its breath for between 30 and 90 seconds. If you are an active swimmer, you may manage 2 minutes or more, who knows? But what if you are a free diver? A very niche discipline, free diving is a true test of body and mind. In South Africa, it's almost unheard of. Until now, because joining me in our studio is Zandile Ndlovu, who recently became South Africa's first ever black free diving instructor. Zandile, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. Okay, so I'm watching this now, and it's the first time I hear about free diving. What would be the best way to describe what it is that you do?
You hold your breath and you dive to depths.
Okay, simple enough. That leads me to my next question, though. How long can you hold your breath?
I can hold my breath for 3 minutes and 55 seconds.
3 minutes and 50. I'm out of breath just thinking about holding my breath for that long. Listen, I believe you haven't been into free diving for that long,
yes,
but you've already gotten yourself that title of the first black free diving instructor. Take us through your journey.
Well, I can tell you this, like it took a lot of work. So the last 7 months talks to more training, and it's a lot of pool training because I live in Joburg, and then over the weekends we do some depth training, and essentially I needed to get to 32 meters in order for me to get my master's certification because I'd already done my instructor's work. So, and as I hit that depth, it was beautiful to then come up. It was the most beautifully relaxed dive I've ever done in my life. And I came up and it was just beautiful.
So when you say 32 meters, you mean so you're diving from the surface,
yes,
32 meters below the water,
yes,
and back up. All of this in one breath. Listen,
yes,
we're looking at visuals on our screens right now where you seem to be having a bit of fun. You're just randomly diving to the bottom of what I assume is probably a lake or
a quarry.
A
yes.
quarry, okay, and there's a bus, and you're just having a seat and just taking in the sights and sounds while on a leisurely bus ride. Listen, free diving, as I mentioned, it's something that we don't hear of very often in South Africa. What got you into it?
Well, it's a long journey from snorkeling and sitting at the bottom of the ocean with the dive instructor, picking up shells and realizing that there's something there, coming back into country to scuba dive, and then the next thing was seeing this beautiful video and seeing these girls swimming, but they didn't have tanks. So getting curious and going straight into it, and registering to get onto a course, understanding how my breath works, what does it mean to dive deep, what does it mean to hold breath that long.
So obviously when diving to these sorts of depths, you have various, whether it be factors, pressure also coming into play. Now, I know just about enough to know that there is a matter of equalizing that pressure.
Yes.
How does one go about getting used to something like that, making something like that a norm?
So you can always, so there's lots of training that you can do at home where you're holding your breath, and your amount of rest time and your hold time can be equal or it can be less, but you're getting your body used to the carbon dioxide tolerance. So you want it to have a high tolerance of carbon dioxide. So as you descend, when you get to 10 meters, the volume of your lungs is already half its size. When you get to 20 meters, it's a third of its size. When you get to 20, 30, you get to a fourth of its size. And that's all pressure that's just squeezing up against your body. And you just learn to relax. Your body knows this. You know, I mean, we were born, we lived at birth in a little bit of a water sack. Mm-hmm. Your body knows it. And when you look at whales and you look at dolphins, our body does the same thing when we dive to depth. It just adjusts and it knows that I can do this. It's a beautiful feeling.
Well, I'm pretty sure it will take others a little bit longer to get used to the fact that you're 40 meters below the water. Yes. But I do want to ask you this: the fact that you've taken on this journey, you've become South Africa's first black free diving instructor, also does point towards the fact that there's the interest in free diving seems to be increasing. The future for South Africa in this, as I mentioned, very niche discipline?
I think we're going to do amazing things. When you look at some of the South African record holders, you look at Gletwin, he just took, I think, 92 meters at depth. And because our seas are a little bit rougher, so we get to train in hard conditions. And you dive in a quarry, when you get to 20 meters, it's pitch black and it's cold. Your next 5 meters, it's even colder. So you're learning to dive deep under very hard conditions. And when you get to Egypt, you'll easily hit a deeper depth because the conditions are, the water's warm, the visibility is 40, 50 meters, which is amazing. So the body is even more calm because even when you have your eyes closed, you can feel how dark it's getting. So the body is almost looking for a place where it's pitch black, and where's pitch black in Egypt? Like maybe at 80, you know, and it's just working your body to understand your breath hold and understanding when you get contractions where your body's saying, I need to breathe and I need to breathe now. You know, learning your body, and you know when your turn must come, and you grab the rope and you pull for your life and you make your intentions known to say, I'm getting back to the top. Because there's a point where you just start dropping, where the sea is just...
I mean, I've watched a couple of videos of free diving, and I've noticed exactly that which you are saying. You get to a certain point where you eventually start, I guess, free falling to a certain extent. There's obviously some major safety risks and health risks that comes with this. And it's every dive, I don't assume it's something you do lightly.
You always have to dive with a buddy. That's the most important rule in free diving. You never dive by yourself. And your buddy will always know what you're able to do. So we like to work against the risk in that when you get to the bottom, that nice strong tug tells us that you're on your way up. And essentially, if you are coming up at a meter a second, I should be able to meet you at half your depth. And your most dangerous place is your last 10 meters where you could have a shallow water blackout. So then I'll be swimming right next to you like this. If anything happens, can quickly catch the airway, support the head, and bring the person up to the surface. So it's not as dangerous when you're working, number one, within your limits, and number two, always dive with a buddy. It's the most important thing.
Okay. So you made mention of the fact that with this new title of being an instructor, I don't assume your list of goals have stopped there. What's next for Zandile and Glovo?
Well, I'm in Cape Town at the moment to work at getting even deeper. So there's one method of equalizing the one that everyone uses, which is a frenzel. And now I'm learning a mouthfill. Mouthfill means that when I run out of my ability to frenzel, which is using my tongue to push the air up into my eustachian tubes to equalize the air, now I'm bringing the air up back from my lungs that I've got. And it's actually the funniest thing. It's the weirdest sound. It's like a whale sound to bring the air back up, and you make your cheeks puff up, and you biting into this air to equalize into depth, your 60 meters, your 70 meters. So there are some big goals and a big heart and a big passion, and just making myself available to the sea, you know, and just traveling within my limits.
Zandile and Glovo, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. The interesting story of a free diver. Well, we'll most certainly keep tabs on Zandile's progress, and also what the first black free diving instructor in South Africa is getting up to. For now, though, we